Hey guys, I'm Miranda, and today I'm going to be talking about my experience working for Geico. So I guess this will be, helpful for anyone who's looking to work at Geico. And basically, I'm just going to, give, a step-by-step information from the hiring process up until when I left. So how I decided to go to Geico is that I was cleaning my room when I was like 20. So this is definitely a couple of years ago. And there was like a newspaper. It said they were hiring. You could come down or fill out the application online. I feel that my chances of getting a job is better when I go into the site. So I went there and there were like a bunch of people there. We were kind of like set up into groups. Well, I guess phases really, like who was here, who just came, who was doing the testing, who was going to be interviewed next. So when I first got there, I probably had to wait about like 15-20 minutes, and then they put me in a room and I had to take a computer test. The computer test basically, it was there were different sections. Like one section was on like how fast I could type, my computer knowledge, and I guess like spelling, things like that. And another one was like an assessment of me. So, like those tests where like they ask you the same thing like over and over again, just in different ways. It was like that. After that, I came back outside. I actually like met like my best friend there. I thought she was a bitch. She definitely had a resting bitching face. She was like there. But like she was just like sitting in the waiting room. And like I said, there were like a lot of people. So then like they called a group. I thought it was like the group who got chosen. Basically, I think they didn't get chosen or something. Or like you could come back another day or blah, blah, blah. So I said, oh, okay. Like, and I thought they had a good chance. One thing I did hear when I worked there is that every 1 in 10 people gets hired there. So maybe they were right about that. And then afterwards, one of the people asked me if I had time, if I wanted to stay to be interviewed. So I said, yeah, because how I figured it was I'm not going to come back to something like either I have it or I don't, and, waste time like that. So I was interviewed by one person. I think I was interviewed by another person. I was like, okay, I'm pretty confident with this. And they just told me like another thing to look out for is like if people give you like the next steps that they're gonna take, they're probably considering you or want you for the job. So like when I was there, they're like, all right, well, we like she didn't say we like you, like, you probably get like a good vibe. She said, well, the next step is the hiring, and then the second interview or something. She was telling me about the benefits, and then she said contingent upon you being hired is you have to go through a background check as well as take a drug test. So I feel like when people tell you more about those things, you're kind of like getting more serious with it. I think I had my second interview that day though. And then like I left just feeling like, I got the job. Like whenever you feel good about a job, like that's how I felt. I told my friends that too. Like, yeah, I think I got it. So then they called me back within a week. I think it was like maybe 2 or 3 days later. It wasn't long. And they say, we like you. We would like for you to come on board, blah, blah, blah. They told me like the amount of money I would be getting. Maybe they didn't do it over the phone. But then like, they said, we need you to come in to take the drug test and whatnot. So I said, okay. So, what happened? So this happened in like August. So another thing to be aware of, like just because you get the job, you're not going to start immediately. Just because it's a process with the drug test and everything, and then like they'll put you in a training class. So say like I went for the interview and stuff in August, I did not start training until like September 15th, 20th or something like that. So I came back, I had to take the drug test, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I don't even smoke, but I smoked that one time. like a month ago, like, is it gonna show? And like my friends were like, really, you don't have to worry about that. Like they think like if you're like a heavy drug user, things like that. So how they do is that they do a hair follicle drug test. So, well, hair sample. So they cut a piece of your hair. Being that I wore a weave, they cut it like in the nape of my back. And they cut it, and then they have to get like a nice amount of hair. It's not crazy though, and it's like they cut it where like it won't be noticeable if anything. They cut it. They said, okay, like, we'll give you a call back upon everything. They also do like a background check and a credit check. When I came back, I think they wanted me to have like certain papers, or like they told me like, hey, like, get your references. So like I had to get references. I think you have to get 3. It may be different now. I told people they had no problem filling it out. So you definitely need references. I took the drug test, and then I just had to wait. That happened like maybe like a day or 2 afterwards. They're like, hey, everything came back fine. You can start at this time. Give me one moment. My cat wants to leave my room. Okay. So, what happened? Where's that? So, they told me how much I would be getting. And then I had to, basically wait for training to start. Training started like basically a month later. I'm not too sure if you had to be 21. By the time I started, I was 21. Because my birthday is like on August 21st, and I wrapped everything up like a little before, and they were like, happy birthday, and yeah. So they told me how much I'd be getting paid back then, because that was like over 5 years ago. They started you off with like 1560 something, 1540 something. It was like $31,399. This was to be a customer service rep too. So I started training. The training classes are about 15 people. That's probably like the most, and probably depending on like what position you're going for. And basically it's 3 months of training, and you basically work over the computer. You have like someone to coach you. You have different coaches, people come, but you're working off the computer, and it's just like basically it's like a sample for like what you should look for, how things will be when you actually get on the floor as a customer service rep or CSR. During training, they also like do everything for like your benefits and things like that. So like health insurance started immediately, or like probably like 3 weeks or something, like after, like it may take like the first paycheck to go through or something, but your benefits start immediately. You sign up for direct deposit, so you have to come with your checks and stuff. They have a credit union, which is good. You could sign up for that. And then they tell you like if there's anything, like how to put things away, like say like for a flexible spending account, things like that. And that was a good thing because like I was 21, and that's like from then on, that's what I looked for when I came to work for a job. So yeah, you do that with training. You get graded on things. And I guess also it kind of like weeded out people, because say there were 15 people when I started, and the girl who I saw in the interview office, which was my best friend, she was in my training class, and like we talked and we had a laugh about that. And there are a couple of other people that I worked with. It's pretty like diverse too. Like it's a mixed group of people that work. We were probably like the 4 Black people. Then there are like older white people, younger white people, older Black people. Yeah, me. There's probably like 5 or 6 Black people out of 15. And then there's white people, Spanish people, and like a couple of like Indians. Like, I don't know if I'm saying it right. Like from India. Sorry if that comes out weird, but like I know like they weren't like Native American Indians. So yeah, you do the training. After training's up, which is 3 months, begins like a probationary period where they put you on the floor, but you're in a group and you have like your own coach. So there's like one coach for like 4 people. They monitor and record your calls. It's very important that you say what they have to say, being that like when you do the insurance, it's like an oral contract, so there's certain things that you have to say and you have to make sure you say it, otherwise like that messes up your performance. For the probationary period, it's like another 3 to 4 months depending on how well you do. If you don't do good, then you can't move on, and they'll just continue training you. What else? Also, training was pretty easy for me, but being on the floor is different. So after probation, I was on the floor and I was just devastated because I was not getting it. Like, me working with people is not a good thing. People arguing with me, yelling at me, being upset. You definitely get disgruntled customers. I mean, insurance is not an easy thing. People are upset because they got into an accident for anything. So I was like 21. I was going to school at the time. I was like, I don't know if this is for me. However, I stuck it out. It was good because like I was going to school and I had to work my schedule like around school. So say I was working 9 to 5, I went to night school. They will give you different schedules and they'll let you know when you first start. So you probably do like a 9 to 5. I heard people doing like 3 to 12s, things like that. It's 24 hours, so it can work like however you want it to be. However, like if you want a different schedule, that may take a while. It's basically based on where there's an opening. So I mean, I wasn't doing well like with the probationary thing. And I think to consider is that there was a high turnaround. Out of the class of 15 people, probably like 3-4 people stuck it out. My friend did. Another guy did. This other girl, she stuck it out for a little bit longer. I wasn't able to move forward because I was still stuck on the probationary period. And it was just like driving me nuts, like the way the calls were and things. You really have to have like a thick skin and be patient. So for anyone who's good working with the public, this would be like a good job, a good entry level job. Also during the probationary period, I saw Warren Buffett. I signed up for other things like for managing my money, especially like with the 401k. If there's any money that I want to donate to charity to come immediately out of my check, they worked with that. They had different meetings. They had a cafeteria, which did have good food. However, buying food all the time can get expensive. And they also have a gym, which I didn't use. Like I said, this was years ago. There were some incentives, like I do know, like they would have like iPods and things. So, I just decided that it wasn't for me, and I went back. I finished out my school and, just focused on that. So, I mean, the con for me was just that it was a very stressful environment, and like my morale went down, like, oh, I'm not getting it and things like that. And I just felt like, one, I couldn't really concentrate on school because I was like really focused on that. And it is like a heavy, intensive job. So I would say like that was my experience. The pros are that they have really good benefits. There is room for growth. There's definitely a lot of room for growth. You can move on eventually to do other things at Geico. And your pay rate does go up. They have like different pay scales and stuff like that. So like they'll start you at 15, and 15 something years ago, wasn't bad, especially for me to be like 21 and that it could grow. Also, they have good benefits, and they'll give you like, I forgot what it's called, but like when a company gives you, they have bonuses, yeah. So your bonus is based on like how long you've been there and like your pay scale. So I think the first year my friend got like 2, 3 thousand. It depends on how long you've been there though. But I had another friend who's working in claims, and they started her, I think, like at 18, 17, 18, maybe 20. Or like her pay went up to 20. Um, and she got like an $8,000 bonus. So like she bought a car and she was able to pay off some of that because of that. So I think like Geico was good. Like if you don't really have a career plan, you don't really know what you want to do, but like you're a clean cut person, meaning like your record's clean, you don't do heavy drugs and things like that, and you're looking for a job that's stable. This is a job for it's definitely stable. I mean, everyone needs insurance, so that was something that they did stress upon. It's a very stable job. um my friend who was in the class, her and the other person, which they were one of the few people to stick it through. Also, her mindset was different. Like she just had a baby. She was like, "I'm gonna take this seriously." Whereas, like I was 21, like still partying. Um, she was able to relocate. They let you keep your pay scale, like when you go like to another state or like laterally. If you have a downward move, I think your pay may go. You may get paid a little less depending on like how it's gonna be or like training, but for the most part, you can keep your pay like if you go to another state and stuff. And I think they do pay for like your travel expenses. They most likely do because they are pretty good with like things like that. So like when she stayed on, she was still getting like incentives. She worked in the restaurant industry where she was like a waitress. So she's good with people and very patient. I'm not. And she was also able to she got a lot of like the iPods and giveaways and things. She was like number one for a lot of things. And she got another position which she really likes in another state, and she makes good money, and she was able to buy our house and things like that. I have another friend where and she's happy with her position. My other friend, she hasn't been with Geico as long, but she's just very stressed. She is in claims. It is very stressful. But I mean, the money is good. She's secure. And right now she's just looking to get into a different position. So, I mean, that's something else. Um, the cons is just that it can be very stressful depending on what position you're in. Back to the drugs. I was talking to my other friend. She said that they are more lenient with drugs now, with the drug policy, just because the drug policy has changed in the States, in the United States. So she said that you can have weed in your system, but it can't be like there's a certain limit. Certain drugs, there's like a limit to it. So that's one thing to consider. And what else? So yeah, a good candidate is anyone who's, pretty much an upright, upstanding person. When it comes, they're very corporate though. That was another con for me. They're very corporate. Back in the days, like you couldn't have tattoos all over. If you did, they had to be covered. Now they're like a little bit more lenient with that. Even like the hair had to be like natural colors, things. Your hair had to be like natural colors, nothing wild. They've loosened up a bit. But like I said, it was very corporate. So they had like casual Fridays where you could wear like jeans, but I mean that's to be okay. But the big thing for me was like say like your attendance when you had to be on time. So like when you go into Geico, you'll have to like be scanned and everything. That takes time. So like you have to really manage your time, like how long is it going to take you to be scanned in and stuff before you get to your desk. When you get to your desk, you have to be there by the time. So like you have to be at your desk by 9. You can't be in the building by 9. Also, what else? They rated everything, like your performance, how your calls are, which was like very like stressful for me. And then like say your attendance too. So like if you miss like a couple of days, your attendance, like your overall score could be like a 70, and it's basically like you get a report card every month on your performance and everything and overall. So if you get sick, it can go down. If you have like poor, if you're not doing good in one area, it's hard for you to move to another position, just off like you have to be doing good in your department before you can move to another department. Go figure. What else? That the, they're like, they say that like when it comes to like office romances and things, like I guess like you can't date like you're higher up, but a lot of people ended up getting married and meeting there, just because I mean when you're there, like that is your job, it's like a career, and you may not have that much free time. It's 9 to 5, but it's stressful, or like you're 3 to 12, but it's stressful. So there's a good chance you may not be looking for a second job, or like it would have to be like part-time or things like that, just because the jobs can be very demanding. um what else was I gonna say? Yeah. Also, when it comes to holidays and stuff, they do like a raffle just because everyone wants certain days off. So if you wanted a certain day off, you would have to put in like really far in advance. But they do raffles like each year, like who's gonna have this holiday. So you will have to work like two major holidays, like say like a Thanksgiving, Christmas, um, Memorial Day, 4th of July. Like when you start, you will have to do like two holidays. Um, I know that was like back then, and my friends like talk about that too. Now, they do let you, however, switch schedules now with people, which is good. Like instead of saying I can't come in, you could just cover or pick up overtime. They didn't really have that back in the day, so that's good. Like just the flexibility. Um, and then what else? I think that's basically it. Um, would I want to work back there now? It depends, just because it kind of scared me because it was such a stressful environment. However, the payoff, the benefits are good. I did hear other people say, like, you know what, just stick it out. And I did not stick it out. I was there for like maybe 6 months. Some people did say, like, you know, if you stick it out, you'll be fine. So yeah. Um, what else? And that's basically it. That's my experience working for Geico. If you have any questions, you can leave a comment below. I don't have anything bad really to say about Geico because that was my experience, and it has changed. It is different now. And I mean, I know for myself, I've like switched jobs like every year or two. I've gotten like different jobs or wanted to move on. So I know that's me. So I hope you guys enjoy the video, and, you know, click the like button and subscribe. Bye.